Got him. The old Finesse Tokyo actually got him right there. Wasn't a giant, but hey, might have been the one that bit that crankbait. And there it is. That's the Tokyo rig. And check out, it's a whole new Finesse system for Nico rigging. So I can take it out. I had it actually weedless there. I could spin it around, hook it through the band system. I got a rubber band system on there, so now I'm wacky. You get some brush, you think, man, I don't want to hang up. You see how quick I done that? Simply slide that off. Come right back up here. Just thread it on there like you regular would, just a little Texas rig system. So now it could be completely weedless in a place like this where I may have more stick ups or hang ups. I like to skin hook it all the way through like that because I'm fishing such a light action rod. It gets bites, you know. I think it's going to play tournament fishing across the country because it's such a unique way to finesse fish, you know, mixing two great techniques. Nico rig's been proved to be successful. Tokyo rig's successful, so you put them together, you got peanut butter and Reese cups, you know, peanut butter and chocolate. It's a great combination. He got it. I mean, it could be just as effective as a Ned or a shaking head, you know, all sizes of the fish. When you're just trying to get bites, sometime, you know, you're in a little tough tournament, you're just trying to catch keepers, you'd probably want to check it out. It's the Tokyo Finesse Nico rig by VMC. That's a little zoom beat down worm, and I'm just completely flipped it around, this Texas rig just for the brush. What we're trying to do here is we're just essentially like running around up in the creeks. We got water coming in. It's just a little warmer than the lake water was. So fish naturally kind of migrate to that warm water. Just trying to pick up a few bites, you know. What I would typically do on a cold weather situation on a reservoir like this is if I've had rain, I'd monitor it and say, all right, I'm gonna check for some warmer water coming in. Because it stirs out the crawfish. I mean, you might have a lot of crawfish coming down a run in. You could have more bait washed in, you know, the shad will push up to it. So it's always a great way to start looking for fish. And then we'll crank around, like I'll keep throwing my crankbaits around these areas and just looking, simply because the water's got a little bit more color. Should make them a little bit easier to catch, should. So I'll go with a Demon, hot mustard. I'll just work around, I'll throw that storm wigglewort. You know, you'd much rather try to catch a big spotted bass or a big sack of spots in dirty water sometimes as clean water. There, he got it. No big ones, but hey. Beats sitting at the house ice fishing on a bucket full of empty dreams. Huh? You like that? Digging a hole in ice? So what are you gonna do today, Jim? Well, gonna go knock a couple of holes back in the ice and work my grubs. We're not. Well, you can see I'm simply just on this little rig, on the Finesse Nico Tokyo rig. I'm just kind of just barely bouncing it on the bottom. Letting that barrel weight just barely touch the bottom, just kind of shaking it along. Shaking, but not like, I mean, it's water temp still pretty chilly, so I kind of take it easy with it and just kind of creep it around. Sometimes places like this, you get that one bite, you know to keep throwing right there. There could be several of them sitting there. It could either be a rock that they've all been sitting behind with the currents flowing just right. Because see, in our eyes, we just see that, but you know there's current here. It just ain't as visible. So there, you have to almost imagine that in your mind that you got it. And they just keep biting it. I mean, I think you're gonna see a lot of people swap their whole finesse tactic when you see this hit the shelf everywhere. I mean, it's just too simple. You can go wacky, Texas rig. I just keep flipping the worm around, sliding it up. Good little setups, like this is a 7'3" medium spinning rod, a little 6-to-1 reel, got 10-pound braid, the base back line, and I've actually got a 10-pound leader. And I just kind of, just like you would fish a shaking head, even kind of close to a Ned rig, just not quite as aggressive. It's like the way that thing falls, man. With that barrel weight, it's cylinder style, it just right down. I just like getting bites, I'm gonna be honest with you. I fished a lot of tournaments and not got bites. When I go fishing, I like to get bites. I've worked on my casting for a long time. I think I'm good. I want bites. Sometimes just getting bites to me is just as important as catching big ones. Because if you're not catching anything, you don't have your head in the game. So I'd like having a rig like this laying around that if I crank through an area and I'm like, man, there really ought to be some fish there. I pick this up and throw it around in there and I get a few bites. I know at least my mindset was right, that I read the situation right. They just wasn't that active to bite a crank. So I think it's kind of cool to get your confidence up with it, get some bites. Sand, gravel, rock, flowing water, after a period of time, it starts filtering it, no matter how dirty it is. So it could be dirty at the mouth of a pocket, and you're like, God, that's really muddy. I don't want to go in there, and maybe it's too blowed out. And you get back here and look, and you got a clean place right there the last 30, 40 yards, and it could be lights out. You can see it's 9 to 10 foot back here. Went through 300 yards of mud to get to this one little glory hole of green water. Come on, 4-pound spot. Oh. This might be him. No, he's just a little bit better. Nope. He's a puller. He was a puller. I'll give him this. He was ambitious. I do really like this rig, I'm just telling you. I can't wait to hit some of those smallmouth places. You know, St. Lawrence, Mille Lacs, some of them places. You could put a small crawl on here. It's got so much potential. So much potential. And so few people fish it for the time being.